Arsenal podcast. My name is COSSY. Welcome back to brand new video. This is the latest Arsenal news and transfer news. I'm back with Glenn for the COSSY and Glenn podcast as we react to the latest stories around Arsenal. The biggest one, obviously, being that Arsenal are in talks with Amadou Onana to sign him for this summer. It also, is said that Arsenal are looking to sign a number 6 rather than a number 8 that was dropped yesterday by David Onstein. And now today, Amadou Onana looks likely that is going to be the number 6 that Arsenal bring in. We're going to be diving into that. We'll talk about Fofana as well, because Amadou Onana definitely, is a Premier League proven player, but also Fofana, according to very, very reliable outlets, including Jacob Benz, Arsenal are still tracking Fofana alongside the likes of, AC Milan, alongside the likes of, Man United, and a couple of other clubs who'd love to get in a bargain this summer. Glenn, how are you doing? It's been a rough day, really, for me and you, but how have you been holding up?
I've been doing good. Hopefully, I mean, we haven't signed anyone yet, obviously. I know probably still mad, but it's only less than a week into the transfer window, so hopefully we start hearing about some business getting done. It's a weird one. With the Euros going on, it seems like all the focus is on the Euros and the Copa America. No one is really talking about transfers, but let's hope we get it at least one done very soon.
Yeah, definitely. So, getting one done, Arsenal are now focusing primarily on getting in a number 6, not just a midfielder, not just a midfield addition, but they have zeroed down onto a number 6. That's according to David Onstein and James McNicholas, or you can call him the Ghana blog. They're saying that Arsenal's primary focus is now number 6, and today we've heard rumors that Amadou Onana, Arsenal in talks with Everton. Let's unpack this information. Let's start off with the number 6 thing. I mean, we were told that Arsenal would look to sign a number 6 if the future of Declan Rice was decided to be number 8. Yesterday, news came out that Arsenal are signing a number 6. Is this because Thomas Partey is leaving for you, or is this because Arsenal and Mikel have looked at Declan Rice and they're like, this is our number 8. Let's go for a number 6.
Unfortunately, I think for them, it could be a replacement for Partey, and that is what I don't want it to be. If it's a replacement for Partey, I need 2. I need both Onana and Fofana, not just one midfield. I think getting one is quite dangerous. So the thing about number 6 and number 8, I'm kind of like you. I prefer Rice playing the number 8. Now you prefer Rice playing number 8 completely. Personally, I don't mind Declan Rice playing number 8 80% of the season, and 20% of the season number 6 when you just need to completely attack and you need to throw in maybe like a couple of forward players at the same time. I don't mind having Rice as the number 6. You basically have a front 6. If you have Rice, Odegaard, Havertz, let's use Jesus for now, Saka, Martinelli basically have a front 6 because Rice can also assist and score. So I prefer Rice as a number 8, but number 6 a couple of times, I don't mind it. So I do think getting a number 8 is hard, as they said. It's not easy to get a number 8 to be linked to players like Eze and players like that, but as we said, because in number 8 for us, you need to attack and you also need to defend. So you need to be like Xhaka, you need to be like Rice. I don't think there's too many players who can do that. Apart from those two, and maybe a couple of others, because it's not easy. That position, you're going to sometimes cover for the left back who goes inverted. Sometimes you're going to cover for the left back who pushes forward and overlaps. Sometimes you're going to go to the wing if Martinelli goes inside, Trossard cuts inside, you go into the wing a bit and cross the ball. All that you need to do a lot of things. So I don't think it's easy to get a number 8. It's not too many that stand out in my head, just like the striker position. I don't think I can mention for you 5 that I'd want in that position, but for the positions I can mention. So for them, I think Arteta thinks the same. I think Arteta is also kind of like me. He also feels like Rice can also play as a number 6 anyway. It's not like he has to play as a number 8 all the time. I feel like he feels that way. Jorginho signed a new contract, so that's a player who's going to be here. But I think the way they're doing that is because Partey could be leaving, and I don't think it will be enough, because what Partey brings into this team, I don't think we'll have enough numbers in terms of that, because our fixtures came out yesterday. We saw, like, in September, even the first 5 games, Wolves, Brighton,
horrible.
Villa,
And I want us to talk about the fixture, the fixture list, especially the first 5 games, and whether that should actually prompt Arsenal into going to get our targets a little bit early, which looks a little bit disorganized a little bit. I don't think we are as organized as we were 2 summers ago. But when you talk about Declan Rice playing in number 6, I don't have a problem with him there, because I know that he's one of the world-class ball winners in the world. He's definitely world-class at winning the ball back. My problem with him is with distribution. My problem with him is with being brave. And problem with my problem with him is with being able to play groundbreaking passes and line breaking passes. That is something that we've talked about offline, and I've just given you examples of Gundogan, Cruz, Lodri, Pedri, a couple of players, Frankie De Jong, players that play a little bit deeper in those positions. And the key quality you've got to have if you're playing in a dominating system is you've got to be able to be brave to play those balls that break through the lines, and because eventually the likes of Odegaard, the likes of maybe Saka, the likes of Martinelli, Trossard, who are going to be ahead of you, are going to be blocked by a low block or around 4 or 5 players that are trying to make sure that you don't get the ball into your attacking line. So you've got to be brave. And I've loved Tony Kroos absolutely this tournament. He's my player of the tournament so far. He's been absolutely great at doing that. And the likes of Gundogan as well. They just find it easy. It's a very, very difficult technique to do because it involves losing the ball quickly.
The only thing I can say about Rice, I don't. There's some people who make it look like Rice cannot pass the ball because Rice sideways, backwards.
No, that's not true. Yeah,
but in terms of the cross passes and stuff, and on top of that, I'd not like to tell Rice don't move because I need my number 6 to stay there. I wouldn't want to put that block on Rice and tell him just stay there. I want to be free to move forward and all that. And I really want someone who's just going to be disciplined and stay there. So that's the only thing I can say in terms of number 6. I agree with you. The passes, someone's just going to spread the passes, just come and collect the ball from the defenders and stick into your position. Sometimes Saliba can push forward a little bit. The defender, the midfielder knows he can stick there, can push forward back a little bit. So I do agree in terms of that. So I do prefer him as a number 8 majority. Majority of the
definitely.
times.
So it looks like number 6 is coming in, right? Amadou Onana. Today, it has been revealed by one of the ex-CEOs at Everton that he has reliable information that a deal for Amadou Onana between Arsenal and Everton is being negotiated. And he also thinks that regardless of whether there is a takeover at Everton, Everton will need to still sell. He also says that Arsenal, are should be very confident that they can get him because Jared Brathwaite is the player Everton want to keep. Now, Amadou Onana, number 6, qualities that we are talking about. Actually, the quality that we are talking about in terms of being a little bit brave, he's got that over Declan Rice. I've watched him for Belgium in the first game of during the Euros, and Kevin De Bruyne was playing in that pocket of space, and he used to find him. He's got that ability to play that ball through a low block and find he's a little bit braver as a player, but is he as quality as Partey? Is Amadou Onana as quality as Jorginho in that position for you? You're mute.
Rookie mistake, eh? A rookie mistake. We don't usually do that. Rookie mistake. But it happens, but rookie mistake. The thing is, the midfield, I feel like you need to do a lot. I don't think it's like on Jorginho and Partey's level. That's midfield. The bravery you're talking about, yes, but I also need the bravery in terms of, okay, the game's a little bit difficult. I need to collect the ball from we're starting to create chances. Let me collect the ball from David Dreyer and let me try and look for a pass by myself. I don't know if Onana can do that. I feel like Jorginho can do that. Jorginho can call for the ball and he can pass the ball around here and there. A player who can keep possession, when you're under the cosh a bit, maybe consider 3 attacks in the last 5 minutes and a lot of pressure here and there when you're playing Liverpool. You want someone to get the ball, control the midfield a bit, pass 2, 3, 4 passes, win us a couple of free kicks, have the intelligence to keep your position, give the other players confidence. When Saliba and Gabriel are feeling like, oh, a lot of pressure, they know they can pass the ball and he can calm things down. Now, I don't know if Onana is on that level of Partey and Jorginho yet in terms of, just being that leader in that midfield yet. I don't think he's that. The number 6 man, if you're saying that you can't even really depend on Rice in that number 6 position, I don't think you can depend on the number 6 position. Now, that's what I mean by that is play on under 38 games out of 38 in that number 6 position, I'd not be confident. Now, if you're playing him one game and then you have someone else and then Onana comes in again the next game and then he plays the last 30 minutes, I don't mind. You just tell him, just bully midfielders there. He has the strength. He can bully people. He plays there for for Belgium. But if I'm not wrong, he's being helped by that Mangala guy in that midfield spot at Belgium. He's not like by himself, so you can't leave him by himself. You can't like let Rice and Odegaard go forward and leave Onana there by himself. I'm not sure how good. I'm not 100% sure on how good is in terms of interceptions and tackles and ball recovery could be good. He has the long legs and stuff, but tackles, can he put in 7 tackles in a game?
Tackles is average. Tackles is average. I think he's lazy to defend. That's what I would say. He's lazy to defend.
Now, I would take Onana to Arsenal, but not as a starter. If Partey is there, I don't mind Onana there. If he's coming in a couple of games, I don't mind it at all. But that's the problem is I don't want him to be the one replacing Partey, and then you don't sign any other midfielder. And number 2, you're going to talk about it. I know the money. I'm not really sure about that money as well. If Onana was like 22 million, like a trust at someone like that, take him right away. He's young. He's going to bring. He's already an international player. He's played in the Premier League. But my 3 worries are the money. Number 2, is he going to like hold that midfield together for 38 games out of 38?
Yeah.
And it's such a tough one. Number 3 for Onana in that midfield, pretty much. I don't know if he can carry us for the 38 games out of 38. Let me just say that. I don't know if he can carry us for the 38 games out of 38.
Now, guys in the comment box below, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much.
Can I add something? Can I add something?
Yeah, sure.
Why I'm saying that for number 3 is because the levels he has been playing.
Yeah.
He's been number 17, 18, 19 in the league. So right now you're asking him, okay, you're coming from a relegation team. We want
to a title, to a title battle.
And not like we can't, we want to win the league title this season. So there's a lot of pressure. That's why I feel that way compared to someone like a Douglas Luiz who's been competing in the top 4 the last season.
Right. So guys, in the comment section, 100 people watching live. Thank you so much. Onana, yes or no? It's a simple one. Onana, yes or no? This time we're not talking about price because we are never going to agree on this channel about prices. I've agreed to that. Onana, yes or no? Because I'm with Glenn that if you're going to sign him, you don't sign him alone. And for me, in terms of what we need right now in that number 6 role, 100% no. So let me know. If you take Onana at Arsenal, yes. Type yes. If you don't take him at Arsenal, type no, because I've seen a bit of contrast. And again, I want to watch him again for Belgium. He plays with Mangala obviously in that role, but I want to watch him again in a system that is heavily dominant, because in the first game they dominated a lot of the ball. They had a lot of possession, but they didn't have anything with it. Eventually, their creativity only came from Kevin De Bruyne, and a few other players, as well. I think like those 2 in the pivot didn't create that much. So Glenn, 50 million. It's what is being quoted. Could it go down? Could it go up? We do not know. First and foremost, I wouldn't take him at number 6. Secondly, maximum for me 40 million.
50 million is too much. 50 million is too much. Now the market is changing.
But also, I think Everton will be looking at the previous prices of players like Caicedo, Declan Rice, and they'll be going. I mean, this 50 million is just half of what those players have actually signed for. And then secondly, we are talking about a 22-year-old, right? That is, looking like a big prospect, looking like a good prospect on the market. Why I wouldn't pay 50 million is because I don't think he is what we need. But if he was like Zubimendi, I would pay 50 million.
50 million. The market is changing, so there's going to come a time where we can probably even get 60 million for Mustafi if you're selling him. That could be the case. Like if it was 5 years ago, 10 years later, that could be the case. There's a lot of players who are going to go for a lot of money, but for 50 million, again, on top of that, Man City have players of 50 million, 60 million who are on the bench. Players like Grealish, 100 million is on the bench. Players like that on the bench. Stones sometimes on the bench for 50 million.
Yes. How much was Matthias Nunes? Around 50?
There's a lot of them, probably more. Something like 60. I couldn't even believe it. 60 million or something, and he's on the bench. He never plays at all. So there's going to come a time where if you're competing with Man City the next 5 seasons in a row, we have to have players who are on the bench who are like 40 million, 50 million. for Onana for that price, that's too much. And it's crazy. I know they can value their player however they want, but I think it's crazy to say, Rice went for 100 million. Onana is also around that. Nah, man. Rice does so. Can Onana whip in a free kick like Rice can? Even in terms of attacking, no chance. Can he take a corner like Rice does?
I mean, Rice, in terms of industry, he's like Tony Cruz. When you watch Cruz, free kicks, corners, midfield crosses, goals, assists, like that guy is industrious. I think Declan Rice is just like that. If he can become braver, he would be a masterclass of a weapon in midfield.
Now, for me, the number 6 position for 50 million to replace Partey directly, I don't think that would be the guy. If Partey is staying, I've seen someone saying no ifs, but if Partey is staying, I don't mind having an Onana there because you still have Jorginho and Rice. So Onana doesn't really have to play every single day, and he's played in the Premier League, he's played for Belgium, he can come in and do the job. But to replace Partey directly and then Partey leaves, I would not do that. If Partey leaves and then we bring Onana, I still need another midfielder on top of that because of the levels that he has been playing as well. And he's very young, and to put that pressure on him to come and help us every single day, it's quite difficult. As you've said, you like to see him in our system where they dominate possession and keep pushing for 8% of the game, and the other team creates only like one chance throughout the game. There's a lot. That number 6 position, if I'd like someone who can, dominate the midfield, control the possession, create a couple of chances for midfield and all that. But if you can't do one thing, but you can do the other like 100%, I'll be able to compromise. If you tell me, listen, I'm going to play this number 6 position, I'm going to put for you 9 tackles per game, and I'm going to intercept the ball for you 6 times, 5 times a game. I'm going to have a lot of ball recoveries, but I'm not going to give you a lot in terms of attacking. I'll maybe say, okay, I can compromise with that. Maybe if you have the lead, we can throw you on for the last 30 minutes and you can do that job for us. Absolutely no problem. If you can attack, the way you told me about Douglas Luiz to be made, if you can keep possession and create a lot and all that, and then maybe you're not the best in terms of tackling, but you can have Rice and those guys helping midfield, I'll be able to compromise. But again, my question for you in terms of Onana, what's his complete standout ability? Because for Rice, his ball carrying ability, and all that, Odegaard, his creativity. What's Onana's like? We are like, oh, wow, I don't think we have anything like this at Arsenal.
Anything we don't have at Arsenal, I would be lying. I don't think his ball winning is better than Partey's and Rice. I don't think his ball courage is as astonishingly better than Declan Rice and Jorginho and Martin Odegaard. I don't think he's as creative anywhere close to Martin Odegaard. So I wouldn't say he's absolutely standing out. But there is one thing that stands out in the interview Keith Wills has done when he talks about Arsenal are in negotiation, and I'm told that is the deal that could, materialize into something. He says that is the kind of player Mikel Arteta has always wanted, and that is the kind of profile that Mikel Arteta is looking for in this market. Now, of course, him being in CEO positions, you will have a lot of information around different clubs, around different targets, and around different, transfer strategies and everything. Why do you think Mikel is big on him? Again, he's not been linked with us today, right to the days when he played for Lille Metropole, and then crossing over to Everton. Arsenal wanted him during that period there. Then he goes to Everton, and now Arsenal want to fetch him from Everton right since January, right? Do you think Arsenal really like him or are big on this still because they look at Everton and they think like Everton are really going to sell? Or they're looking at him as a player that, regardless of the price, regardless of the availability, they would still go and push to sign him. Like, because the advantage I have with him is if I don't have Declan Rice on the pitch, I can play him in the Declan Rice position. Probably doesn't give us the free kicks and the corners, but that ability to carry the ball, I think he has it.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's a completely useless player. Nah, he's definitely going to bring something in your team. I mean, sometimes there's, as I've always said to you, there's a couple of games where he's kind of destroyed us. The 1-0 rush on Dyche was the manager, and we played them at their place and they beat us 1-0. Was it Tarkowski or someone who scored? They destroyed us that day. They destroyed us on that day, and he was getting past, I think it was Xhaka and Odegaard so easily, like he was dominating us in that midfield. So for domination, he can dominate the midfield for you. He has the power. Probably I'd say one of the main reasons maybe you'd want him is the power and the strength in the midfield, Partey is on fit, is probably your best midfielder in that position for sure. There's even a time you were saying we were putting him on the levels of Rodri. And there's a time when Partey came back, people are like, oh, they have Partey, Rice, and Odegaard. That is like the best midfield in the league. There's a reason why they would say that. But if you're being honest with yourself, there's a couple of times if Partey is forward a bit and he loses the ball, he doesn't have the pace to cover. He gets left behind so easily. So if Partey comes forward a bit and loses the ball, there's a couple of times that has happened, and I'm like, oh, he does not have. We can even go 2 seasons ago. I think it was Rashford who passed him so easily in midfield and then scored. Partey did not have the pace to come back and cover. Rice could. Onana could have the pace and the long legs to come and cover. Partey does not have the pace. So Partey has to really stick in his position and not lose the position, because if someone gets past him, I don't think he's able to cover. And he doesn't even pick up too many yellow cards because he doesn't even get back to the player to make the tackle, Partey. So in terms of that, Onana can add that to us. But in terms of everything else, I don't think he could. So number one, maybe the strength and, just that presence in midfield. And number two, I have to say, I think it's because of Everton having been forced to sell and him being a cheaper version. Because I've seen people in the comments saying Joao Neves, Bruno Guimaraes, those players are 110 million. It's very impossible. If you also want an Osimhen, for example, you can't also get a Bruno Guimaraes and you can't also get a Joao Neves. I don't even think I would spend 120 million euros on Joao Neves anyway. So Onana is like a cheaper version of that, around 50 million. That's why I'm kind of surprised we didn't go for Douglas Luiz, but I don't think Aston Villa would want to sell him to us, although you feel like we should have tried. I don't think they would have sold him to us.
I think we should have tried, because we are talking about market opportunities. We are also talking about clubs that are in position to sell. Maybe Arsenal didn't want to, try and fail and then alert other clubs that they're really big on a number 6. I think they want to go for a deal that they're 100% sure they're gonna do. But the one thing I don't agree, and of course you've just mentioned it there, the Athletic also mentioned it. Arsenal think and Arsenal feel that there are more attractive options at number 6 this summer than at number 8. And I don't agree with that in 2 ways. Number one, when have Arsenal really come into a transfer window with the mentality, under Mikel Arteta obviously, with the mentality that if there are 5 options, right, in number 8, we will go with 1. I thought that we always come into our window knowing our target. Like, we should have looked at our target almost like 12 months ago and then zeroed down on a target. And then secondly, when I look at the number 6s and the number 8s on the market, I kind of like they're hybrids. Like Bruno Guimaraes, there's a hybrid there. Of course, no, Joao Neves and Zubimendi, those are not hybrids. They are, typical. But Amadou Onana, yes, he can play as a number 6. And we're going to talk about how Mikel Arteta might want to, maybe improve him and adapt him into a traditional number 6. But don't you think that, do you really honestly believe that we don't have number 8s available, this market?
There are number 8s available, but I'm 50-50. I don't know, because of
Frankie de Jong.
Yeah, could be, but I'm always like, Premier League, will he like adapt right away? I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. So number 8 position for us, you need to attack and you need to defend. So people will say, let's get Eze, but can Eze come and help whoever is playing the number 6 and defend?
Adam Watson at Crystal Palace.
Okay. I might have to pay that 70 million for Nana if that's where we are going. No, there's not too many. Even number 6, I understand in terms of hybrid. Yeah, Bruno Guimaraes would be perfect. If Bruno Guimaraes were like 50 million, you go and get him right away, because he can play those 2 positions. Is there number 8s? Are there more number 6s and number 8s that realistic to get? I would say yes.
I mean, they have used the word attractive options, so maybe what they see as attractive to them.
Going back to your first question, I think they might actually feel like that number 8 position is covered with Rice. They might actually feel like, okay, Rice can cover for us that number 8 position. If need be, we can play Havertz there for a couple of games. If need be, we can play Trossard there. If need be, Vieira is staying, we can play him there. Maybe they feel that way. But the number 6, you're not really sure, because even if Partey stays, what if he gets injured for 2-3 months? There's a time Jorginho was also injured for a couple of games. If you don't have both of them, you're in trouble. So I guess they will still look for someone who can play as a number 8 a bit and also as a number 6, and that is Onana. But I really hope Partey stays if that's the case, because if Partey leaves, that means you're going to be playing Onana every single day. As I said, I don't think Onana is a bad player. If Onana can come in and, just bully other players, he can help us in terms of that energy and strength in midfield. But the problem is the price and the level he's been playing. But yeah, to answer your second question, I do feel like, there's probably more number sixes or more realistic number six. They could be the same number in terms of how many are available, but in terms of realistic and not wanting to spend too much money, because we've been linked to even attacking midfielders. But number 8, not too many, because you need to defend and attack. And if you play Onana as a number 8, I'm not sure he can attack that well. If he plays as a number 8, I'm not sure he can defend that well. So can we make a bid for Xhaka? I would love Xhaka in this team. I'd actually go and make a cheeky 15 million bid for him to come back.
Yeah. I tell you, he's a Mikel Arteta refined product that all of us would love to, to see back at Arsenal. Guys, 120 people in the chat. Thank you so much for watching. Would you take Xhaka back at Arsenal this summer? Yes or no? It's just a yes or no. Would you take Xhaka back at Arsenal this summer? Let's see. Let's see how many people would take Xhaka back. Let's see how many people would not take Xhaka back. But personally, I would take him back. Like, I really wanted him out in 2020, 2021. Now, I'm sorry, Xhaka, you've got to come back and you've got to do the job if you are available. Anyway, Glenn, before we get into the other target, who is Yusuf Fofana, do you see Arteta once again, tweaking and changing the system that we are used to? Because with Xhaka and Partey and Odegaard, we played a very, very different kind of system where Xhaka had a bit of, a lot of freedom, and Odegaard also played a little bit higher. With Jorginho in this system, predominantly playing at the base of the midfield, we have seen a very kind of different role between what Xhaka did and Rice did. But of course, Rice eventually got the freedom. He scored some goals and created some chances, but it was different. So do you think, again, Mikel Arteta is switching? He doesn't want to stay static. He doesn't want to, keep a midfielder at the best. He wants to play with two, kind of midfield power dynamites in Rice and Onana, and then allow Odegaard to become that kind of free, creative player like Kevin De Bruyne. Again, we've seen it with Manchester City before, where they played Ilkay Gundogan and Rodri at the base of midfield, and that absolutely gave Kevin De Bruyne a lot of freedom, to do whatever he wanted. Scored hat-tricks against Wolves. That is the game that I remember during that, that system. You could have Gundogan distribute, all the time. You had Rodri, who is the kind of, the bodyguard to Gundogan, and they both shielded Kevin De Bruyne very well, with Bernardo Silva playing out wide. So do you see something maybe like that? Two midfield poles in Rice and Onana, and maybe Mikel is looking to elevate the position of Odegaard in terms of creativity and also in terms of that, number 10.
It could be. I don't think he's going to go with one for the whole season. I think you're going to make a couple of changes. And if it's a double pivot, I don't think it's going to be both Rice and Onana. I can see it if maybe Rice is resting or something like that. We could have, Onana or Jorginho in midfield and stuff like that to help whoever is playing the number 10. I don't think our midfield is bad at all. I don't think our midfield has been exposed in any kind of way. Maybe the Aston Villa game. Maybe, but yeah, we needed a midfield and then he didn't bring on one. That's the game that I feel like he made a mistake. I don't think Odegaard's creativity is like shut down, even if you play one pivot and stuff. I think he still does his job. Maybe he could, if we asked him, okay, don't even come back to defend. You have two players behind you. Yeah, that could help him. Yeah.
The key highlight against FC Porto last season, in the first game, Odegaard was easy to defend against because he was dropping deep, and FC Porto pressed him high up the pitch that they didn't allow him to progress the ball. So in the second
game, I don't like using that game as an example, but I hear what you mean. I feel like the nerves were terrible.
Yeah, the nerves were terrible, but you've got to give FC Porto their own credit, and as well, you've got to give Arsenal our own credit from learning that from that first game, especially with the goal, because that was a clear lesson learned. So with Odegaard in the second leg, he literally was not dropping. He was literally playing as a number 10, and that let that caused a lot of problems for for FC Porto, for them. So maybe Mikel looks to, because I still think that Odegaard can be unlocked to go to another level.
Yeah, you could be right. If he has two players in behind him, he could just ask him, play number 10, don't come back, take shots, or just create more chances in the game. He could do that. But I'm saying in terms of even the way you're playing right now, I don't think that limits him too much. In terms of maybe he does come back a couple of times to defend, when maybe you can just have him staying forward, like a strike, and then he just puts in those through passes. You could be right in terms of that. But the way our team is, I think we are very lucky to have the players that we have behind as well. Because I don't think there's a time we've been really exposed and you're like, this midfield is so open, the way it could be when we had Guendouzi playing there or Lokonga playing there. Our defenders, Saliba and Gabriel, are very quick and they know how to push forward. So basically, Saliba and Gabriel push forward so high to the point where one of them is almost like a midfielder sometimes next to the midfielder, because they know whichever pass comes behind us, we have the pace to cover. So we're lucky in terms of that. But in terms of changing the system a couple of games, yes, if it's a game like we're playing against a team who's just going to pack the bus, as you said, yes, we can just ask Odegaard, listen, just stay forward. We have two players behind you. I don't know if you mentioned Kovacic as an example as well, maybe playing next to Rodri, and then it allows De Bruyne to just stay forward. Basically, have like two defensive midfielders. That can also help. I'd like us to try that, because we haven't really tried it that much. So you're basically saying like a traditional number 10, the way Ozil used to play. So I think it can work like that as well, but just for a couple of games. Because for me, I feel like it would work better having those two midfielders, when you're playing like a Man City, and you have like De Bruyne to worry about, you have a Foden to worry about in that midfield, Liverpool and all that. But against almost every other team, against like 16 teams in the league, I'm happy to have one pivot and allow both the number 10 and number 8 to go forward. I don't think What's the main reason that Odegaard's numbers in terms of goals dropped last season? I don't think he didn't get chances. I think there's a period where they weren't clinical enough. Saka,
I kind of feel like during the beginning of the season, we were a little bit and I wouldn't say unprepared, but I don't think we were as organized as we were
trying to find ourselves.
I don't think we knew each other. I don't think the system was as fluid as it was the season before that. And after Dubai, since February, that's when each and everyone has now gotten into their roles very well. Declan Rice has gotten his role. Jorginho has settled in. And you saw Odegaard, getting very, very good chances and getting into very good spaces.
Yeah, from January it worked. Yeah, from January, even Ben White became better, and that helped Saka become better as well. Yeah, the midfield was okay. Yeah, all that.
I think everyone was affected by the changes, the introduction of Declan Rice. And then when Partey got injured, Declan Rice playing at the base of the midfield, which didn't work. Kai Havertz playing in midfield as well. Timber as well was injured. So we had a few changes that were implemented during preseason, and those changes couldn't actually be done because Partey and Timber got injured quickly earlier on. And Mikel Arteta took a long time. He didn't want to revert to the old system because he didn't have Xhaka anymore now. So we had to find a new way of playing football, and it was just going to take some time. And I pray that we don't fall into that trap anymore. I pray that next season we play what we are used to. We don't change it a lot, and see if we can go and beat clubs, with a system that's fluid.
Another formation I've thought about is, yes, Odegaard will be given the license to play forward, but also Rice. Because if you play a back four with Timber on the left side, Timber is going to pick up the one coming to midfield to play.
Yeah, in fact,
So basically, you'll have two number 10s in Rice and Odegaard, and you'll be asking them, stay forward and do your job forward. You have Timber behind you. You have even Onana, whoever is behind you as well. So that could be another formation. And in some games, if it works, that could be 6 goals. We would create a lot of chances with that. But obviously, if it doesn't work and someone gets exposed in midfield, in a bit of trouble. But again, if everyone stays fit, Gabriel, Saliba, Ben White, I really trust our defense so much, the point where I'm like, we can't really get exposed. So that's what I'm saying. If Partey is staying and Onana comes in, I'm okay with that. The only thing is the money. 50 million, I think, is a bit too much.
Yeah. So Arsenal keeping tabs on Yusuf Fofana, who has predominantly, by the way, just for correction to you guys, Yusuf Fofana has predominantly played as a central midfielder for Monaco last season. He's not predominantly played as a DM. He's actually predominantly played as a CM. Interesting. Very, very interesting. And of course, he's played at DM as well. So Fofana is 25 million and not Premier League proven as Onana. Also, we have not seen much about him. Do you think Arsenal should prioritize a move for Fofana? Is cheaper and looks kind of a DM?
Again, only if Partey is staying. If you tell me Partey is leaving and then you only bring in Fofana, I'll be even more worried than the Onana one, because now he doesn't have Premier League experience. Doesn't have that. Is he physical as Onana? He could be.
Yeah, he is as physical. Powerful. He is as physical as Onana.
I mean, he plays for France, an international player, but in terms of the Premier League experience, I'd be right to just ask him play there by yourself. Everything for me, I think, depends on whether Partey is staying. Because if Partey is leaving, then I'd be looking for those 80 million midfielders. For me, midfield is my priority. I want a midfielder first before a striker. So I don't want us to joke around with the midfield. As I've said, without a striker, you can still win the game 1-0. You can still score a set piece and your defense is good, you can still win the game 1-0. If you don't have defenders and a good goalkeeper, you can still win the game 5-4. If you have good forward players, you can still score goals, but you're conceding a lot, like Liverpool back in the Suarez days where they used to concede a lot. But if you don't have a midfielder, you're not going to score, you're not going to create chances, the transition is going to be slow, and you're going to give away so many chances because you don't have enough protection for your defense. So that is the engine of the team. So that's why I want a midfielder first, because not because I feel Jorginho did badly or Rice did badly. They were incredible last season. But when Partey went missing, we took a lot of time to settle. We had to play Rice there, and then we were a bit confused. Havertz in the number 6 and number 8 position. The moment Havertz moved forward and Rice moved forward and we had the number 6 playing there, we basically won almost every single game. If that was the case from like September, you probably would have been here with 1 Premier League title already. So midfield for me, I would get a midfielder first. For Fofana, 15 million is very cheap. 15 million is, you don't get players like that who play internationally that are that cheap. So 15 million is quite a good price. Another thing I'm usually worried about, I always ask myself, if a player is cheap, maybe there's a reason they're cheap, You remember Ranison? If you buy a goalkeeper for 1 million, that is exactly what you're going to get. So I do think, though, for what he's going to give us, again, I wouldn't really trust him to control the midfield for us, give him the ball, let him create chances and all that. But as a backup in that position, I don't really mind it. If Partey is leaving, you have to get both of them. I don't even think I'll be satisfied with that, though.
Okay. Now, Onana, Fofana, lots of rumors going on, and we will keep you posted. Glenn, do you think that the transfer window at Arsenal will be sped up because of the fixtures that have been released, and also the fact that we have a tough start? I've seen a few people saying this, this start to the season should actually awaken us and maybe make sure that we do deals a little bit quicker. It should, honestly, because we have 10 players. Realistically, we have 10 players at the Euro. So we have 10 players at the moment that have not had any break, right? So you'll have to give them the whole of July and maybe the beginning part of August, or maybe the whole of August, depends on what the club will choose. So do you think we are going to see a little bit of agility, quickness in doing deals at Arsenal because of the fixtures?
Nah, I don't think you're going to do it because of the fixture. I think we are going to do it anyway. I think you're going to buy the players anyway, even before then. I mean, the last 2 seasons we've bought players early. We've always said Jesus, Zinchenko, Vieira, Havertz, Rice, all of them have been bought before the preseason. So I don't think anything changes in terms of, I don't think they would panic in terms of that. And on top of that as well, I don't think they'll be like, oh my goodness, Aston Villa and Brighton, let's buy our players quick. And no, I don't think they'll be like that. They'll just stick to the plan. I'm happy that there's nothing too much that is leaking out. That is great. Just keep everything indoors. I don't mind it. Get the players done because people are worried about Chelsea and stuff like that, hijacking our deals. I don't think they will really hurry things up because of the fixtures. I think they will hurry things up anyway. It's not easy to sign players during the Euros. That is why I think people focus too much on Chelsea, because Chelsea are buying 19-year-old Brazilians. Oh my goodness, Chelsea have bought players. But now, Liverpool not buying players yet, Man City not buying players yet and all that. I don't know if it's because Mbappe moved to Real Madrid, so people want us to sign a player quickly. Now, you have to take your time. As long as you get the players before preseason, absolutely no problem. Then preseason, is more than a month away, almost like 5 weeks away. So absolutely fine with that.
Hi, RK. How are you doing? Thank you so much for guys in the comment box below. You've been amazing. Nathan says, for me, Onana will take Arsenal to the next level. Like the way Arsenal, like the way Arteta transformed Kai Havertz. Okay. Medi says, yes, you take Xhaka back. Clifford says you would also take Xhaka back. Great analysis, guys. Thank you so much, Baba. Robert says, good evening, Kossy and Glenn. As far as I'm concerned, I can take Xhaka back. Patrick says, hi, Kossy. Justin says, you take Xhaka back as well. This is interesting. This is very, very interesting. Senyondo says, no, I wouldn't take Xhaka back. But Baba says, yes, you take. Charles says, you take. Caesar says, no looking back. Other options are available out there. Okay. Adelaya says, yes, you take him back. Rangy says yes. Mega says yes. This is interesting. Morgan says 100% you take Xhaka back as well.
I opened a can of worms, huh?
Yeah. Morgan says not too satisfied with Onana's quality. I pray Arsenal don't get him. Interesting. Okay. Theodore says you need to smart, not about big spending, just get smart deals done. Okay. I would definitely say Arsenal have done some good smart deals over the years. So I'm still very, very I'm still very interested to see what we do in the summer, right? In this summer, in terms of that quality, that level of quality, not too much in terms of money, but still too much in terms of quality, but good money. Thank you so much, Baba, for the super chat. From you, Baba. Thank you so much. It's
Baba
amazing.
Baba Wealth is coming through, eh?
Definitely.
Thank you for all the comments.
Guys, thank you so much for watching. We'll be catching up with you later on. Let's go and catch up with the Euros. I mean, it's a very, very interesting tournament. If you can if you can watch it, definitely give it a try. We'll see you right in the next one.